Hey everyone, it's Tubasa back with another video. Today we got some more entries. Just as a warning, this week there's not going to be as many videos unless if I decide to post my music, which I'm considering because I'm going to go see my sister for the weekend. So without that being said, here's some art that I drew from April 24th, 2025. The eyes are very uneven. I don't know why, but looking at it in the video looks way worse than in person. But obviously, they're different sizes, they're at different angles, stuff like that. In that bottom corner there, that's just a symbol I like to draw a lot. It means absolutely nothing besides it being, I guess, an insignia that I enjoy drawing. So, without that being said, let's get into today's entry. And this entry is from the 28th of April at 2025. There's this invisible stress that's plaguing me. The idea wraps around and chokes me like a snake. No matter how hard I try to avoid this unwanted guest, I can't help but have its presence wander in my mind. Sometimes I laugh at it. Sometimes I scream. It seems no matter how far removed from this feeling, it still creeps its way into my peripherals. If I could compare it to anything, it would be that of a king in yellow. I don't know what it is lately, but I feel like I haven't been thinking. My frontal lobe feels dull and spacious. I don't recall having to do much that requires a large portion of my brain to dissect. Obviously, I'm being hypocritical as I have just finished a quiz, but outside of that, when I'm not doing anything, I feel this absence of thought. This contrast of too much dread and numbness in my head is quite peculiar. To be honest, I've been drifting like this for a while and don't have a clue as to when I will dock. I'm out on a raft in the middle of the ocean with everything to fear and nothing to think about. So this week has been an absolute whirlwind because I've had a bunch of projects that were due and submittals that had to be done. And so it's just this giant space in my head that's filled with fog, because when you have group projects that you're working on and you feel like you've done a part, you have this urge to help others out. At least I do. And when people, don't ask for that help, it's kind of like, okay, what do I do? Because I want this to be done on the due date, like before then, so we can get it submitted on time. And it becomes a little bit of a trust-based activity because you have to trust that the other people are going to do their part and get it done on time. And luckily, we turned it in just in the nick of time, like 4 minutes before it was due. It was like a 100-page thing that we've been working on for the past 4 months, and I'm glad we got it done. And when I got done with that, I just had to keep going to the next thing. Like today, I had a Steel 2 design interview thing that my professor did instead of a final. It was basically him asking us to come to him and show us our understanding of the unit, and kind of if we were to teach it or give someone else this PowerPoint, would they be able to understand the Steel 2 concepts that we've learned? And I got absolutely grilled on it, and so much so that I have been told and asked and encouraged, and I did sign up for a second slot. So I'm going to do my interview a second time as a follow-up, if you will. And I'm glad my professor has allowed me to do that, because I feel like my laziness got the best of me, as when I was doing this the first time and starting to make this presentation, I had looked at the question, answered it, move on to the next one, and then once I came across a question I didn't know, my brain just shut down. And although I tackled it, over the course of a week or two, every day I'd do a little bit in piece of it, I wasn't really following the guidelines because I felt so deterred from it because I myself wasn't confident in answering those questions. But today I spent like 7 hours revising this PowerPoint. I finally think I have it in a submittable worthy state, and I feel like this second go around is going to be a lot better as I have more directly attacked these questions. So I'm very grateful that my professor has given me a second chance at this, and I don't want to let him down or myself because I'll probably use the PowerPoint later in life. Besides that, my week has been still stressful. The only thing that wasn't stressful is I went to this Catholic grill out, which was pretty cool. It was the first time I ever went to a church event that wasn't, mass, and it was pretty good. I met some friends. I met, their friends or fiancés or girlfriends or whatever, and I can tell you that, I felt welcome to a certain degree. There was another part of me that was pretty anxious though too, because there were quite a bit of girls, and my anxiety, I feel like, can sometimes get in the way of that. But what I thought was interesting overall though is like, I'm anxious about it and going up to people and talking to them. But when it comes to there being a piano in the room, I will gladly go and play the piano. Now, I'm self-taught and I'm not a master class student of piano, but I did play a couple of my own tunes and songs that are on this channel. And, no one stopped me. I feel like most people kind of listened. I had a friend that came in and was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you played piano." I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of self-taught. I'm not bad." But for me, at least, playing piano, despite it being probably something that considers some amount of courage, I did it without, thinking, because I'm like, oh, it's a piano. I can be in my zone, my sphere, while also projecting to other people a little bit about me that might intrigue them. So I'm glad that I was able to at least do that. So the strangers around me could be like, oh, this guy plays piano and it's okay, I guess. I don't know what they thought of my piano stuff. They could have been like, dude, someone needs to get this guy out of here. That would have been really funny. But this next week is Dead Week, and I'm still going to be busy. I'm still going to be distraught and anxious because I have presentations. I had a professor assign homework that's due on Friday that you're not supposed to really do on Dead Week, which sucks. It's dumb, but it should hopefully only take like 30 minutes if I'm working with my classmates. I have a big presentation coming up on Tuesday. I have the other presentation either coming up on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on when my professor is able to be there so we can meet. And then I have one actual final in like 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks. The Monday of next week, if that makes sense. And that'll be my only actual final, and then I have to grade finals as well. But in the meantime, I will be chilling out, readying myself for graduation and the trip to the Northwest of America, baby. I still don't know exactly where I'm going. I've kind of given my mother a bunch of ideas, and she would like to come along, so she's probably planning that out a lot more thoroughly than I am, which I probably should do. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here, and in the next video, we'll be getting into some more artwork that I have, as well as another entry. And I think this entry is also very similar in tone of dread and anxiety and anger. Or maybe not. Never mind. This one actually was chill. I remember I wrote this one when I went to that grill out at church. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace.